Hello everyone, welcome to GW Pro Trading. It's Gwyn Michael here, and today is Tuesday the 7th of December, and I'm going to be looking at with you market update. Alright, I'm going to be sharing with you points of entries, what I'm looking at in the whole current market setup, and how I'm going to be looking for my next winning trade. Alright, so if you're new to this channel, I recommend that you subscribe and also smash on the notification bell on this channel so you'll be getting information whenever I post content such as this one. Alright, so first I'm going to start with the King Dollar, okay? I'm going to start with the King Dollar, and we're going to look at what else is happening in the whole euro market first, because it's best to have an idea as to what is happening, okay? Because that gives you an edge, that gives you some certain level of directional bias, okay? What is dollar doing will also give you directional bias, okay? So what I was looking at initially for this one here, I was looking at the possibility that we could have some sort of setup here, because this move right here looks pretty corrective. All right, it looks really corrective. Okay, apart from the fact that it looks pretty corrective, and I could also see that I have one of a major drop down here. So if I go down to the hourly time frame, which we could also identify clearly that we did also see a drop down, which could have also created an A leg. We did create a B, we did create a C, but also there is a great possibility that we could have also worked out a 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and to 5. All right, so we could have been working out that scenario. And if you're going to work out that scenario, which I'm going to be looking at, that the major degree trend should be to downside. However, we could also be working out an A, B, and we're also looking at a potential C completion before the next move to downside. However, if price will want to contract instead of this territory here for the next drop, then it will be very awesome to see. However, what I'm going to be looking at generally, I'm going to be looking at when price starts breaking a structure. Okay, when price starts breaking a structure is what I'm going to be looking at getting into the opportunity. Right, so I want to see price break a structure. So far so good. We've seen in the week right from Monday structure, we've seen the whole of Monday structure, we've seen price drop into the zone and make this high, testing previous structure here. However, we have overall high there, so we have price trading currently around this support area. Okay, so if we're going to be having some bulls coming in to shift price into the upside, and that would be cool. Okay, but if price would fail to find support right inside of the environment of 96,200 territory, then we might also see that there could be a great chance that the start of the next C leg could be also in play, and then we could see price drop to the downside. Okay, and with that said, if we go ahead and look at what also we have in the economic calendar for today. Today is Tuesday. We early in the session we had AUD with the Bank of Australia rate statement, which also did, I would say, did not really create much of a push in the market, because however right from Monday we also had it that AUD was also very strong right from Monday. All right, so let's go into the chart, and then let's see what is also happening on the chart, and then let's see what opportunities we can also make out of this one. Okay, in the chart, on the chart, this one here, we've also seen that first USD JPY have also broken above a key environment here, which I was also looking at taking some minimal positions yesterday. All right, I was looking at taking some minimal positions here when I find price inside of this territory. All right, so what I wanted to do was sell around this 113,200 at the push to the upside. Okay, so that was done. My stop loss was up here, and I was stopped out this morning early in the session. So I'm not going to be looking at this. I'm going to be looking at a potential buying opportunity. Okay, at the moment we've seen that price have created an overextended pattern. Okay, some sort of overextended pattern. So it's best to find a structure. Okay, it's best to find a structure to work with. Okay, we've also seen that early in the session, however, ahead of London session, we have that price have dropped back into test that structure there. Okay, in order to find more liquidity, and that is being validated at the moment. However, we are 15 minutes into the session, so it's not really confirmed that the next candle is going to be bullish. Okay, and it's just a rejection. It's just a rejection as it is. Okay, so if there is a confirmation, we can also look to get into some buy positions today at the right spot. Okay, and also we have it that the USD CHF Swiss francs also made the next move into the overall target, which I also wanted to see. Okay, price did reject what could have been a very important structure there, having created a double top, which I spoke about during the pre-market analysis. And we also have it that there is a huge support in here. However, what we had was a two-bar correction. Okay, we had what could also be a two-bar correction, and then we had the next move to the upside. Okay, what is going to happen for this one here? I'm not going to be looking at taking any trading opportunities or any trade decision for the whole of the week for USD CHF. I'm not going to be trading USD CHF for the whole of the week. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this up here on my chart. I'm going to put this up here on my chart. Avoid for the whole of the week. All right, I'm going to put that avoid for the whole of the week. So I want to avoid this market setup for the whole of the week. I'm going to restrict this. So I'm going to avoid this for the whole of the week. One of the reasons why I'm going to avoid this for the whole of the week is, one, what we have last week was a potential two-bar correction. Okay, we had what I could label, or I could call, a potential two-bar correction, because if you look at your setup or your chart, many of the times you find this kind of setup in the market. All right, you find this kind of setup in the market, and you want to see that whatever this is should be validated. You want to see that this should be validated. So what I want to see at the end of the trading week, I want to see this validated. I want to see structure. I want to see this candle end as a fillback candle. I want to see it end as a filling candle. Here it's supposed to be block. I want to see this end as a filling. All right. However, if you could have even the body is smaller, but I want to see this as a filling candle. Next week, I'm going to start also buying to fill in that structure. Definitely, that is going to give me an indication that there are bulls present in this structure. One of the things I don't want to be doing today in the week, because we could also see that price could also rise up to this structure and then reject and then close down here, and we could have some structures such as this one here. All right, we don't want to have this price dropping back to test this support area here in such a hurry. All right, I want to see price stall. I want to see indications of bulls, okay, in the market before I step into this one here. All right, on the daily time frame, this also looks just as cool as this. All right, just as cool as this. And we've seen this huge candle on Monday. That could also be as a result of maybe, just maybe, USD strength, or maybe CHF weakness. All right, and that would have been massive. All right, but that also I think that more of reflected on the fact that USD was more of the most sorted after safe haven currencies as against other ones, because we also had it that USD JPY was also making a rush for the money. Okay. So I would say that was also because USD was also the most sought after safe haven asset against compared to other safe haven assets. Okay, so we look at that one there. Okay, so if we could have what could also be a corrective structure, we might also as well be back into testing the zone. But I expect that overall in the week we might also be having a very choppy week inside of this territory here. Okay, I expect, because what I'm looking at here, originally I was looking at this as a liquidity zone. So if you go look at my previous 2 weeks analysis, which I pointed out right from when we had price trading here, I spoke about that price should come and reverse around inside of this territory. But this structure here, I want to see momentum, I want to see structure, I want to see consolidation, such that I could have the next push to upside as massive as what I would want to see. All right, also similar to what happened right around here. Okay, what happened right around here was awesome. Okay, as I spoke about in this territory here. So I want to see a momentum such as this one. I want to see price compact back into retest and then validate a structure. So if I could have a positive, price could be back into this structure to validate one more time here. Next trading week, I'm going to buy back into this structure and into the next high of that. Okay, so I want to see validation. All right, so also we look at Euro USD. Euro USD, during my pre-market analysis, I spoke about Euro USD, that I want to see Euro USD back into what I would term as a liquidity zone, which is inside of this point, before we can then look for the next bullish opportunities to the upside. Okay, so far so good. We are trading inside of what we can identify as a downward channel, and that could also continue until price gets into this territory of the 1.125 territory. However, if price would drop into that zone, I think that would be the best time to start looking for bullish opportunities into testing previous structure. All right, previous structure I'm going to be looking at testing will be previous structure such as this one here, which also price did respect over a certain period. We had price respect that structure over a certain period when we were trading around that point there. All right, so I want to see price back into that structure, but before doing so, I want to see consolidation. However, have it at the back of your mind that we have support just way down here. We have support back in this territory, which I also spoke about right from 4 weeks ago, that I expect this point to be a liquidity zone. Okay, so if price would make a rush into this zone, then I will be looking for some sell opportunities right in this territory here to sell back into this territory right here, because this is going to be where I'm going to be looking for a final target. Okay, last week, what we also had last week, we had more of 2 indecision candles which also have not been validated. All right, when you have 2 dodgy candles such as this one here, you want to find that the next candle should validate. If you have the next candle validating this structure up to say a bullish structured candle, we could also have this as a validation, and we could be looking at a presence of bulls in the market. But this, I'm not going to be waiting for this validation. Rather, I'm going to be waiting for an opportunity for price to move into this zone. Once price moves into the territory right there, I'm going to be looking for some structure to look for potential buy opportunities to the upside. Okay, and as you can see, that price is also sliding into that zone. That also is reflecting as to what DXY is also doing at the moment. But that is not really my concern because we are still starting in the session. All right, so best opportunity is to wait and then wait for price to align into what you can recognize and what you have set out to do. All right, trade your plan and plan your trade. All right, also we look at Gbp Nzd. Gbp Nzd, I have what could also be a potential support back in this territory. All right, so I'm going to show you what this support, why I put this support in here. One of the reasons why territories which I pick support is mostly the fib retracement area of this swing. Okay, so I put up a fib swing here, and this is my 38.2 Fibonacci retracement of this major swing to the upside. Okay, so I'm looking at price to be back into testing this point here, and I'm going to be working out a scenario that we could also have it that price could be back into testing that point right there. All right, so what I'm going to be doing for the whole of the day, I'm going to be waiting for an opportunity to have price go back into that point. However, if this could also pose to be the high of the day, I think that could also be one of the best entries to look for some sell opportunities back into that point there. And we could also see that the risks to reward will be one that would make the most sense, because we're going to be risking somewhere high above the 200 moving average, just maybe about 37-39 pips, and we're going to be looking at a target between 90 to 96 up to 100 pips downward. All right, so we could be looking at a possibility that price could also break below this structure here. So this could also be some sort of what would I say? I would say it's more of a contraction, or however a corrective structure, because once I'm looking at a trend following pattern, what are the entries which I look out for and I wait for is break of structures. Okay, break of corrective patterns, okay, such as this one. Break of corrective patterns are what will give you the best entries to look for sales opportunity. All right, so break of corrective patterns are validation points, validation for the next drop to the downside. So once price breaks this structure, I think we're going to be looking at the possibility that price would want to slide and then continue to the downside. Okay, so we look at USD CAD. During my pre-market analysis, I spoke about that I don't want to be taking any trade with USD CAD because this is a very key supply territory. All right, this is a very key supply territory. But looking at the setup or the composition with this one, this looks really impulsive. Okay, this looks really impulsive to the upside. Okay, so best if you're going to be taking such trade, we're going to be understanding that we're taking a counter trend trade. Okay, a counter trend trade on the direction or against the direction of the bigger trend. All right, so we're looking at a possibility that price could be back into testing a support of the channel here, but this structure is very huge and very strong in terms of the drop. All right, so that could also be because of massive cat strength. Okay, that could also be because of massive cat strength. That also reflected on crude oil today. That's what reflected on crude oil today. And that could be massive cat strength. Okay, it's massive cat strength because we've seen that price have moved 0.64% in the day, and that's massive cat strength. All right, so we also see that reflect on US oil. US oil have also moved about some movements in the week. Okay, in the week we've seen price move right from here up here, we've seen price move 9.65% in the week. Wow, that's cool. All right, that's because of massive card strength. Okay, so we have the USD card dropping down into that territory because of massive card strength, and that would be a point. Then we could look for reversals. Okay, I want to wait for some defined structures. Okay, I don't want to trade this. I want to wait for some more defined structures because this alone is not complete. It's not cool for a trade. All right, we look at Nzd USD. What is also going on with Nzd USD? Nzd USD also is looking to appreciate over this current trading day. Right from Asian session, we had it that price did create what could also be a base right around here, and we have it that price is continuing to make further corrections up to the upside. And whatever corrective wave or corrective structure that could be, I think best scenarios will wait for price to either test this point here or this structure, which was previous structure there. Then we could wait for some sort of validation or structure for the next drop to downside. All right, so I'll wait for that, and once that is complete, then that will be the best entry for some short-term opportunities. Okay, but we also have it that on a monthly scale, we also have that support is right around here on a monthly scale. We have support right around there on a monthly scale. Okay, we could also be looking at a possibility that price would want to test either of the structure. Okay, either we could have price test the weekly daily structure, or price be back into testing the monthly structure. All right, so whatever it's going to be, guys, I think we are still backed with this downward channel down here. We are still backed with this downward channel down here, and that is going to be classic. That's going to be key into the next decision, which also we wanted to do, because apart from the fact that we are backed with that structure here, we have what could also be as a possibility of a supply in here when we had price trading around this support. This acted as supply to send price down, so possibly we could have a retracement of this swing internal structure. Then we could look for the next short opportunities to the downside. That's what I'm going to be waiting for to do, guys. I'm going to be waiting for to do just that. All right, we look at AUD USD. We have AUD USD. AUD have been massively strong since the start of the week. Okay, since the start of the week, we've seen massive strength on AUD. All right, that has also reflected with the fact that price is currently also trading around the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement of the swing. Okay, this is the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement of the swing, which I spoke about. And this structure here buyers tend to present themselves around this structure here. All right, so buyers tend to present themselves around that structure there. So how long can the buyers or push price from that point on? All right, so what is going to be happening is that we're going to be looking at buyers pushing up to some Fibonacci levels of this impulse to downside. All right, and that's what I'm going to be looking at. All right, I'm going to be looking at some Fibonacci retracement of this huge impulse to the downside. All right, so one of the areas I'm going to be looking at price to get into 38.2 of this swing to downside, also 61.8. All right, so what is going to be, guys? I'm going to have to wait for either of the two opportunities to present itself. Whichever presents itself first, I'm going to be looking to take some cool positions of it. All right, it's massively strong over the week, and it's crazy for one to start looking for sell opportunities right from this one here. It's crazy. All right, rather I would wait for price to complete whatever structure it actually is setting up to do, and whatever bulls is getting in this structure there needs to start to give us some setups. Okay, they have not yet given us a setup, so we just have to wait for them to give us a setup. All right, the smart money. All right, so let's just take a look at gold. I would say gold is possibly looking for new directions. Okay, gold is possibly looking for new directions here. Okay, we've started below 61.8 of that swing. All right, but I'm still looking at the possibility that gold should also continue sliding back here, so I'm gonna have to avoid this. But whatever is happening here, I think for sellers could also find some bit of entries around this structure here. Okay, could also find some bit of structures around this point here to continue selling downside. All right, I don't know, guys, and I don't want to be involved. All right, USD Mexican peso have been sitting right here on Monday, starting the week, and on Tuesday we've been sitting down around this structured support right here. All right, what I'm looking at this as a support here, because we have this as a low, we have this as a start of a new leg, we have possibly, if we could be having price contract, that we do not know. Okay, we could be having price contract because this was previous structure, and I want to see more price action. I want to see more confirmation. I want to see more structured developments, okay, in price before I could then look at this one to put it into one of the trades I'm going to be looking at to tech. But however, during the pre-market session, I pointed out that I want to see price back into the zone, so I'm going to have to wait for some level of price actions to develop before I could then start taking some trading analysis with this one. All right, so looking at USD ZAR, it is a possibility that USD ZAR can also be back into testing the 15,400 territory here, which was previous structure, having broken out of what could have also been a structured one and possibly a structured A, B, which I was expecting a structured C for the drop for price to then continue to the upside. But however, price did break above that point and extended above what I would look at as a possibility of a B leg, because this B leg shouldn't have expanded or gone up above the 127 Fibonacci extension level, which I put up here as extended, and this is the 16.8 extension, which I also spoke about right here. All right, so I didn't want to see price move up to the 16.8. All right, so for price to make this move, this is no longer a validated B. All right, this is invalidated B. So I'm going to take it out right now. I'm taking it out. So I'm looking at a small corrective wave somewhere around here, so I can look for some buying opportunities. Okay, some sort of corrective wave and look at some buying opportunities. All right. So, however, in the week we are still looking at the possibility that price could also be correcting in a monthly, in a daily scale. Okay, in a daily scale, we've seen price trading sideways, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. All right. So we could be having price at one point could also start to drop back into the zone. All right, that would be the best entry for the next buying opportunities to the upside. All right, let's go take a look at some Euro GBP related pays as well in this presentation, because I want to just wrap up everything and then show you one of the areas I'm going to be looking at in the week ahead. Probably for people that are following me on my Telegram, on my Twitter account, on my Facebook handler, possibly you could also be having an experience when I'm coming out to give out a trade call. I might be doing analysis on that trade call, or I may just not be doing analysis on that trade call. But however, this will also give you an insight, pre-insight as to why I want to take certain decisions the way I want to do when I'm giving out that trade call. All right. What we have here is what I spoke about last week, and we'll start with Euro GBP. All right. So Euro GBP for this one here, I'm going to still continue with what I was doing over the last 4 months. Okay, I'm not going to change my bias because it is what has been and what it will continue to be. I want to see Euro GBP back into 0.3833 territory. Okay, that's the very first thing I want to do. I want to see price back into these lows right here, this structured support. And if I want to point it out to you guys, this structured support is one we had far back 2019 and also 2020, and we are still trending downward. Okay, there is no indication of some strong massive bullish movements. Okay, there has been no indication of strong massive bullish movements or uprises. So I want to see a possibility that the price could also drop back into this territory in search of liquidity. All right, so what I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be looking at some bearish setup to align. Okay, but for now we have that price is still trading with backed support here, having not broken below key environment there, and rather it's crazy. Okay, so we're going to look at H4. It's rather crazy because it's not defined. Okay, so I was looking at initially, I was looking at maybe, just maybe, with 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, some sort of corrective wave pattern here for the next move, but price then flat out, and then created this structure here, which looks crazy. All right, so this could also be an ABC for a flat A, B, because this fits the characteristics of a B. All right, it's not retraced above, it's not retraced far out the A leg. All right, it's not retraced far out the A leg, so it fits for what could be an irregular flat, or could also turn out to be an extended flat. But For a possibility for of an irregular flat, all right, we could have it that irregular flat could also respect previous A leg territory, which is here, and we could also be having the next push to the upside. All right, so there could also be that possibility. I'm going to be looking at that possibility playing out today. Okay, but if price will slide below this point here, I would be looking at this as an expanded flat. And personally, as you guys know me, in all my analysis, I don't really go down to the lower time frame to count the waves. Okay, it's mostly noisy, it's mostly choppy, and it doesn't really define much. Okay, it doesn't really define much for me. So I will not be doing so in counting the internal structures, okay, with this one. All right, I'll not be counting the internal structures with this one here. So I'll just go ahead and leave it the way it is, okay? Leave it the way it is. So I'll just go ahead, change this, and probably I could just go ahead, add this as an A, and add this as a potential B. All right, I could just do that, and we could be at the end of the structure there. All right, so one could actually take some buy opportunities, and it's really crazy. I would say that it's really crazy to be looking at that now, okay? Because we are still structured downward, okay? We are still structured downward, okay? We are still structured downward. If I just go ahead, put this right here, we are still structured downward, and we could have been at the end of this push to the upside. So what I'm going to be looking at doing, I'm going to be looking at a truncation. I'm going to be looking at a possibility of a truncate coming in, okay? So we could be looking at, if you're looking at some buy opportunities, best entry or best exit, you should not be going out that far. All right, you could actually possibly be looking at back into testing this point, because I am looking at a possibility of market truncating. A failed wave 5 could also signal a reversal to the downside. So I'm going to be looking for that to also play out. Once that plays out, I'm going to be looking for some sales up here. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be looking at that. All right, so we have Euro CHF this morning. We're out of what could have also been the structured downtrend here. All right, and man, this one is actually still suffering a lot. All right, we're still back, support down here, 127 pip extension. This is really suffering a lot. All right, I wouldn't be taking some positions unless I have some corrective movements. All right, I won't be taking positions unless I have some corrective movements, and some breaks of some structures. Key environments are going to be cool. All right, they're going to be cool. All right, and this one doesn't look really awesome. Okay, we look at Gbp Y. This one doesn't really look awesome as well. We are still trading around support territories there. Monthly scale could have been a possibility of a rejection, and I'm looking at some bearish momentum still stepping into this one here. All right, on a weekly scale, nah. Bearish opportunities, best to wait for bearish opportunities. Okay, best to wait for bearish opportunities. We can take trades up here. We can take trades up here. Randomness in the market. All right, so let's look at GP card, and this is one we're going to be waiting to take some buy opportunities off. And I pointed out this during my pre-market analysis, and also last week when we had the major card this coming in, I spoke about that I want to see price back into this point here, because this was my initial plan. Okay, I was looking at an ABC for A. I was looking at this as a corrective wave, so possibly we're having some bit of expansion here of A, B, C. We could be waiting for the next push to the upside back into some highs. It could also be an expansion that could also complete, and the next wave could also be to downside. So best scenario is to wait for a more defined setup. Okay, is to wait for a more defined setup. Okay, but I'm still waiting. Because I don't have a setup that is worth trading. Okay, I don't have a setup that is worth trading. There could also be an indication of weakness coming in here, so I don't have much to trade, because I'm looking at this as more of bearish. After an impulse correction, I'm looking at the next one to complete this impulse here back into at most this zone. All right, so I'm just going to have to wait. The rush here is massive. All right, I want to see price turn and then turn. All right, I want to see price turn. I want to see price give me a valid entry. It's really crazy for this one here, and I would really point it out that if we don't find support around this point here, we could be looking at problem. We could be looking at supply being dominant on this one. We could be looking at possibility of supply being dominant here. Right? If we don't have price bounce off this point here, supply is then dominant. We can be looking at then completing the pattern downside. All right. I want to wait to see reactions around this previous structure. I want to wait to see reactions around this structure here. So I'm going to wait for the whole of the day. Oh God. We have CAT news on Wednesday, and on Wednesday we have Bank of Canada rate statement and also overnight rate. Right, we could be looking at that to create some level of volatility. It could also change some price movements. Okay. All right, so we also have it that Euro CAD is also doing that which we expected right from last week. If you go ahead check that out, which I spoke about CAD. Okay, I want to see price back into this point here. So this territory here is what I want to start looking for buying opportunities. All right, and we are still close to that territory, so it's best to wait to validate that point there. All right, I'm going to wait. All right, so we look at GBP AUD first. GBP AUD, I'm going to wait for buying opportunities, all right? And I recommend that you do so as well because we are still trading upside, okay? I'm looking at my final target as around 1.8929, 1.89, possibly 1.893, 1.8929. And we're not going to change this to a whole number because it's, when you talk about psychological number, it's psychological because it's in your mind. The lazy ass traders want to, round it up so that they can actually look at it as a psychological number. Okay, it's in the mind. All right, price may or may not respect that point. All right, price don't just come bouncing around some numbers because it's round 1.900. Price could also bounce around 1.905 to 1.7 thereabout. All right, so when you're putting up psychological numbers here on your chart and says the whole number, that is not best. All right, so it's actually you drawing a line on waters or drawing lines on sand. All right, winds comes, blows it away, it's gone. All right, so we look at this, and we're also going to be applying we're going to take a trade with this one here. I'm going to be applying inner circle concept of smart money move. Okay, I'm going to share it with you guys as well. I'm going to apply inner circle smart money move strategy here with this one coupled with my Elliott wave. And we have price dropped so far 216 pips on the week. We're looking at overall weekly range is 262, so we've dropped 210, 262 down here. So we're looking at from this point here, we're looking at 1.860. 1.860. Let's go put out 6. Okay, let's see. Let's go look at it again. I think I just did a mistake with that one. All right, 262. All right, just slightly below here. So I'm going to applying inner circle concept into this one here. If I'm going to be looking at taking a trade in London session, I'm going to be risking just maybe 70 pips. I'm going to be targeting 227 pips. Just maybe. Okay. And we look at Gbp Nzd. What's also going on with this one, guys? Okay. We are still yet to not hit the support of this structure here. Okay, and I think it's overall crazy because this one here we've completed the target. This was the final target here, so I'm out. I don't want to be looking at this one for now until new price developments evolve. Okay, but this one here, we haven't hit that target, guys. We haven't hit that target. I would say we haven't hit that target because we have not hit that target. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. We've not hit that target for this one here. This is different. We haven't hit that target. All right, so we're just gonna have to wait. Maybe this could have been an expansion, weekly expansion range. could have been complete, and then we could be looking for the next push to continue from that point upside. All right, that also reflects with Euro AUD. Euro AUD, we did hit last week target, and that was awesome. For last week target, which we wanted to hit, and this could also be a retracement. There's still a possibility of territories for price to possibly retrace into, but since we've hit this target here, I think it's best we wait for new directional moves. Okay. All right. This looks crazy compared to this one. I think that's because of massive GBP weakness in the week as compared to this one here. All right, so let's just move on to GBP JPY. What's going on with GBP JPY before I point you guys in the direction of one of the most important trades I'm going to be looking at for the week. My favorite WXY combo corrective structure. All right. This looks crazy. All right, it's best not looking at this one here. I've just got my labels on GBP ZAR, just as this one, 1, 2, 3 expansion, ABC. A, B, C, wave 4, not breaking above, breaking through price territory of wave 1. We're looking at next drop to downside, right? It's a possibility. All right, so that's what it is. All right, GBP NOK, man, guys, this is GBP NOK completed certain, apart from the fact that it completed two structures, it completed 138.2, which I was looking at, and also 61.8, which I was also looking at. All right, so best entry, wait. That's the best entry. Wait is the best entry for GBP NOK. Overall price could want to target upside, but could also find some corrective structures just way down here around just below 11,600 territory. 11,600 could also be some territories. All right, let's just go ahead and look at one of my favorite setups, which I'm going to be looking at in the week. This is one I also always look at for, and it's one of my favorite, right? I call it the WXY combo, which also played out nicely, and I shared it with you guys. Go check it out. Favorite setup for 200 plus pips on this channel. Go check it out. Let me go see if I find that for you guys. Let me just go see if I can search that and find that for you guys. My favorite strategy for, okay. Let's go see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find that. It's what I love the most, okay, because it presents one of the best setups when they occur. All right, they give more of high profit. Okay, you want to be having some strategies that give you a higher percentage risk to reward. Okay. Let's go ahead and search that. Let's go ahead and search that. Very difficult to find. I have lots of videos on this channel. Probably. Let's go search it out. All right. So this is it. All right, this is it. I just spotted it right now. So let me just go ahead and share it with you guys. All right, so this is it. So just go over to the channel and then search for this structure here. All right, this structure here. This is it. All right, best trading setup strategy for 200 plus pips. Couldn't bring one. All right, and bring that strategy. All right, so this is the structure. This is the structure. This is what it looks like when you're looking for it in the market. This is what it looks like. Okay, this is just what it looks like. A little contraction in here and a little breakout in here. Fake out. Once that completes, then what it looks like. This is another setup here. All right, this is another setup here. Taken out of the picture, and then you want to wait. All right, so from this point, it's not a. All right. Right. Let's go see. You want to wait. Is always Okay, let's see. All right, so this is mostly the outcome. This is mostly the outcome of this strategy. All right, this is mostly the outcome because the reward is mostly massive. Okay, it's mostly massive. All right, so we're going to apply that in today. We're going to look at what Pay has that setup here. What has that setup here is CAT CHF. I'm looking at CAT CHF to give me a setup such as that one. All right, I'm looking at CAT CHF to give me that setup right there. All right, CAT CHF is presenting itself into giving me that setup. So I just gave you guys a bazooka. And it's best to wait, then plan, set up, and then wait for price to complete that pattern there, possibly tomorrow, because I feel CAT is gonna give me valid entry tomorrow. Okay, it's gonna give me valid entry tomorrow. So I'm looking at this completion. This is W, which is an accumulation, as you can see, which also is one of the things I'm looking at here. This is a W. I'm looking at a break leg of an X. So here I'm going to have to wait. All right, this is not validated. Okay, so what I'm going to start looking for sales is going to be below this point here. I'm going to be looking for sales below this point here. Anything below this point, I'm going to start looking for sales. My stop loss is going to be up here. I'm going to be looking at taking, as always, 127 Fibonacci extension as the final target. Okay, if price would retrace, say around here, 127 is going to be down here. Okay, so you're going to be seeing that this is going to give you 190, probably 190 pips. Okay, and your risk is going to be probably going to be somewhere down. You're going to take some sell. 150 risk up here, 51 pips, 153. Perfect entry. All right, that's what I'm going to be looking at for the week. I'm going to wait for that to validate. Okay, wait for that to validate, because one of the things I'm looking at here is this is complete. All right, impulse correction, impulse. This could turn out to be an A, B, C fail pattern. All right, for price to fail in here. All right, and then man, price should drop, continue downward. There's a whole lot of big mind game here. So at one point you need to be patient. All right, I was stopped out on this one on Monday, and I was able to capture the whole of this move from last week back into this point here where I was stopped out, because I was looking at this trend line here and I was stopped out. Okay, so I didn't want to take any trade above this trend line here, so I was stopped out and I was able to capture 70 pips from that one there. So whatever is going up here, it's back into that liquidity zone, all right, which I spoke about, and it's really not my concern right now until I have validation. All right, when price goes back into liquidity zone, it's crazy, which means the first wasn't able to send price down, so I'm going to wait for the second to validate. All right, what could also happen, it could be an impulse correction. We might have the next impulse to the upside, so you don't know that for sure. All right, so you want to wait. All right, so we look at NZD card. NZD card this morning looks just as nice as this. I think card is really strong in the day. Card is really strong and could also extend in the day. So best you look for entries with card and then continue selling. It's gonna be strong in the day. Okay, card is gonna be strong in the day. So I'm just gonna have to wait. JPY is gonna be weak in the day because it's up here and with up. Yeah, I think so. So card JPY is gonna still go up massively, man. All right, a lot of things could also happen today. All right, market can actually do anything. Okay, that's what I point out to you guys. Market can do anything. All right. Oh boy. Let's see. We've won. Well, I don't know. It's best to wait. All right, market can do actually anything today. All right, and I'll be back with update and trade calls as well. So I just want to give you guys a breakdown of what I'm going to be looking at on some territories I'm going to be looking at today, and possibly it looks more like I don't really have a tradable plan in the London session. All right, so I'm just going to have to wait and then sit, then wait for some setups to develop. All right, we missed some couple of few entry points, so it's best not to rush it. And I don't rush it, all right, as you guys know. So today is when I start my trading on Tuesday, and I'm going to be looking at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably a little bit of trade on Friday. It's cool. All right, see you next time. Subscribe, like, and also share with friends. That's the best. Thank you, and it will also help in the creation of more videos such as this one. All right, see you next time.